I get questions about recovery all the time from my training clients and my members here at Strength Camp Nashville. So I wanted to go over a couple of things about recovery and the differences between some different types of recovery and what's the most important types of recovery to pursue and how to achieve that. So when you're talking about recovery, you got to know two things. There's a difference between just recovery and recovery adaptation. Recovery adaptation is what you're going for. That's where you start to feel better and your performance improves. Now, what's the difference between that and just recovery? Recovery is just defined as the reduction of DOMS, or delayed onset muscle soreness, or that fatigue feeling, or any kind of muscle pain, joint pain. Feeling better can be described as recovery. Recovery adaptation only happens when there's an actual physical change, whether it's in your muscle mass, if it's in your neurological systems, if it's in your cardiorespiratory system, in your performance. Typically those things are categorized as recovery adaptation specifically. So what kind of things can trigger recovery only? These are kind of the accessory recovery strategies that I suggest to people who are feeling sore, tired, have some aches and pains. Things like massage, stretching, ice, heat, acupuncture, enjoyable activities. Sex releases a lot of hormones that make you feel better, and just it's an enjoyable activity in general. So all of these things and more can be included in things that will cause recovery. Now, recovery adaptation is truly only triggered by three things, and I tell this to my clients every time they finish walking out of the gym and they already know what it is. After your workouts and after your training sessions and your competition, you need to get in water, protein, and sleep. Water replenishes your body's water source, which you sweat out, that you use to lubricate the joints during the workout. Protein is obviously the macronutrient that you ingest that produces more muscle mass, it repairs torn tissue. Protein is used not only for muscles, but it's used for every substance, every tissue in your body to rebuild, to synthesize new materials that have either been lost or just need more. So the protein's not just about the muscle, it repairs everything. And then sleep. That's the time that your body takes that water and takes that protein and really gets to work on building a better body, building the body that you're trying to build with your workouts, with your competition. Now, you do have recovery during the day, not to say that you're only recovering when you sleep, but sleep is the primary time when it happens. So in order to get that recovery adaptation, which is what you really want, that's really what we're doing all of our training for, is to adapt and get better, not just to feel better after you feel sore. You have to get that water, protein, and sleep in. That's the only three things that will truly provide that adaptation. Everything else is a little bit superficial. So let's take a look here at a couple of different things. These are the main kind of areas of recovery that people typically want to focus on. They want to feel better after their workout, they want the muscle growth, everything like that. So let's just go one at a time and see what is categorized under recovery, meaning that these things can help with that and cause it, and recovery adaptation, meaning these things will help you feel better, but this is really what's going to help you with that. So first of all, feel better. Less soreness, more energy. So you hit a really hard workout, your legs are super sore. What's going to make you feel better? Honestly, these recovery adaptation tactics will work. They will make you feel better. Massage, acupuncture, chiropractic, ice heat, all those things are going to make you feel better after your workout. Recovery adaptation, can that be categorized as something that will make you feel better? Your water, protein, sleep. Yes, because half the reason you're tired and sore is because those muscles have been broken down, you're a little bit dehydrated, and you're just tired from the workout. So get in your water, replenish the H2O, you get in the protein, build up that all those new tissues that need to be built up, all the new sequences, and then sleep is really where the bulk of that happens. Muscle growth. So this is, you just did a strength training workout and you're trying to improve the size of your muscles or the density of your muscles. Will these techniques help you get there? No. They will help you feel better after your strength training workout, but none of these techniques for recovery will actually stimulate muscle growth. Water, protein, sleep, recovery adaptation, that's where that lives in terms of actual physical change. Let's look at improved performance. This one's kind of a tricky one. You might think that based on how things are going now, it can only come from the actual recovery adaptation, but it's not quite true. Imagine you just finished a leg workout and in 2 days or 3 days you have some kind of a competition or a game in your sport. If you're feeling super sore after that leg day, you may not perform as well. Now, recovery adaptation aside, if you're not feeling quite as sore, you're probably going to perform a little bit better. You're not going to be as fatigued, you're not going to be in pain during your activity. So general recovery tactics, everything in the red over there, that can actually help you achieve better performance. And of course, recovery adaptation is definitely going to help you achieve improved performance because that's actually you're physically a better athlete. Mobility increase, so your active range of motion, how far you can pull a joint or move a joint rather without pulling a muscle or things like that. You could kind of say that some of these recovery techniques just for the recovery would get you there. Most of those are going to be short term. So if you're looking at stretching and rolling, heat, other activities, yoga, things like that. Well, yoga is technically a workout, so that can be put in a whole other category. But basically, your massage, your stretching and rolling, ice heat, things like that that are meant to improve mobility, yes, it will happen, but it's more of a short-term fix. In terms of doing exercises over the long run to improve your mobility, your active mobility, your ability not to get injured during those movements because you have that active range of motion, that's going to come more from post-exercise, post-workout, getting all those recovery techniques. So I'm going to give this guy kind of a halfway here, and then of course you can probably tell which one is my favorite between recovery and active recovery at this point. Yes, you'll get a little bit of short-term mobility increase from doing some of these techniques, but it's just that short-term. Movement patterns improvement. So with this, I'm talking about if you've never deadlifted before and you are working with a trainer or even just yourself and you're learning how to do the deadlift, you do the movement, it doesn't look so good. The next day you come back, or the next time you do deadlift, probably wouldn't do deadlift 2 days in a row. The next day you do deadlift, it looks a little better. And then the next time you do deadlift, it looks a little better. What's going on here? Could these techniques up top that are geared towards recovery affect that? Probably not. What's going to affect your movement patterns is primarily this time to sleep. Whenever you're learning a new pattern or a skill or any kind of thing, you're studying for an exam, you load the information into your nervous system, into your brain, into your body in this case, and then as you sleep on it, your brain processes that information and logs it into your body's long-term memory. So when you're learning how to deadlift, it may feel super awkward and just look bad the first time you do it. But over time, as you get those good reps in, those neural pathways start to take shape. And once again, most of that development happens while you're asleep. So that is a big old fat X right there, big time. So that's your recovery adaptation only from your water, protein, primarily sleep. Finally, neurological recovery. Again, some of these accessory techniques could help in the short term. Neurological recovery, what I'm referring to is, again, let's take the deadlift. You do a heavy deadlift day. You're going at like 90-95% of your 1 rep max. Much of the fatigue and much of the decrease temporarily in performance after that workout is coming from your neurological system, your nervous system. Yes, your muscles will be fatigued, but what turns on your muscles? Your brain, your nervous system, and the decreased ability for your nervous system to fire post-intense workout is what's primarily involved with decreases in performance because of fatigue. That's why when you see a new person come to the gym who's never lifted before, their strength gains just spike like crazy. Like you could go from deadlifting 150 pounds to deadlifting 250 pounds relatively quickly. That's a 100-pound jump. Whereas somebody who's been training for 5, 6, 10 years might struggle to get another 10 pounds on the deadlift over the course of a year. That's because their neurologic system has been adapted over the course of time. And those strength gains are coming primarily from muscle mass improvement, which takes a lot more time. So in a nutshell, neurological recovery, same thing with the movement patterns, is going to happen mostly in your sleep and also with the nutritional part of it. So once again, I'm going to give this kind of a half here and then a full here. So guys, in conclusion, because I know this has been kind of a long video, when you're looking at your recovery, simplify, okay? The water, protein, sleep, it's always gonna make you feel better. It's always gonna help you recover in your performance. It's gonna build your muscle. Let's just look at it. You're gonna feel better. You're gonna build more muscle. You're gonna improve your performance. You're gonna get better mobility as long as you're working on those things. Your movement patterns are gonna improve, and your neurological recovery is going to be there all the way down to the water, protein, sleep. Now, these other things, I'm not saying are bad. If in a perfect world, everyone would be able to do these as well. It's gonna make you feel better, thus help you to work harder in the gym. Thus, when you apply these 3 principles, your gains are going to be that much more, or losses in weight if that's what you're going for. Either way, You need to focus on the recovery adaptation side of things before you resort to these other recovery techniques. Like I said, they're great, but we don't want to only emphasize going and getting massaged or stretched out or doing ice and heat if you're feeling sore. If you're feeling overly sore and you're not, pushing yourself to your limit in the gym every day, something over here is probably out of whack, okay? So I know this is a long-winded video, but there's a lot of information to cover, not everything that I even covered here. But this is a very simple view of what the difference is between recovery adaptation and just simply recovery, and how you need to prioritize your recovery strategies for your post-workout and moving into competition and moving into just the next phase of the training cycle. So I hope this was helpful. If you got something out of this video, maybe share it with a friend or two. Do me a favor, hit the like and subscribe up top if you're on YouTube, and we'll see you in the next one. Appreciate it, guys.